Hi, I'm George Lucas, director of The Phantom Menace and other flawless classics. We all know the Ewoks are the breakout characters of the Star Wars trilogy, but did you know they released an album? Now you can hear Ewok versions of all your favorite songs, like I Walk the Line by Johnny Cash. The trees are pine, Ewok prime time. Hey, Big Spender, Kids on Endor. Kids on Endor. Kids on Endor. Hope they don't end up as meat. And who could forget this 80s classic from British band The House Martins? Every bear, woman, man, join the caravan of courage. Yub nub, yub nub, yub nub. Look for it in your local music store or gas station. Try the gas station first. That's it, mopface. It's the Ewok Adventure Caravan of Courage. One of those or none of those titles. Watch along.
We don't even know the fucking title of this thing.
Oh my God.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the How Dare You God damn it.
To be honest, Mike, this is more How Dare You than everything sequel right now.
I do this on the other podcast all the time and talk about the Everything Sequel podcast.
That's the beauty of the watch-alongs. You're never wrong.
Yeah, my brain is scrambled eggs. We just recorded yesterday. Welcome to the Everything Sequel podcast, doing what I'm sure is a How Dare You movie.
Yes.
It's a watch-along. Tom.
Yes.
This is our 1 year anniversary of watch-alongs.
It is. And
it all started with the Star Wars universe.
With the Star Wars holiday special. And to celebrate our first ever watch-along, which was the Star Wars holiday special watch-along in November of 2020, we are returning to yet another Star Wars universe TV event in our holiday time slot.
I'll say
this movie was broadcast on Thanksgiving itself,
as it will be for us.
Be for us, exactly, because we always premiere these on their release date. So this is an extra turkey for your Thanksgiving dinner.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
Well, the first thing that came to my mind was, have I seen this?
Okay.
I can't remember if
This is an interesting one because you would not have been able to see it at the theater.
Right.
But I remember when we did the Star Wars holiday special, I have a memory of you saying that you ran home to see it.
To somebody else's house, yes. Like we were racing to get there.
Am I to assume that by 1984 you'd learned your lesson?
I think so.
because neither George Lucas or television audiences had.
Right. Yeah, exactly. This is a year after Jedi.
That's the interesting thing.
For all we knew like of the core story, we thought that was the end.
Yeah. What a time! What a time to be alive.
How naive we were.
Well, it's interesting. You should bring that up because these movies. I say these because there's more than one Ewok movie. We're doing the first today, which has been retitled Caravan of Courage, but was simply broadcast as an Ewok Adventure. When we obviously assumed there would be only one. It came out of a renewed demand for Star Wars on TV post Return of the Jedi,
but not post holiday special.
Well, that's the thing. Because the subsequent two Star Wars movies had come out, the holiday special was now a kind of distant memory. However,
Gotcha.
George Lucas makes exactly all the same mistakes. Which is why it's such a fitting anniversary watch along.
Because that's not surprising.
No, it's not. Well, it's surprising it's surprising in two ways. It's surprising that that he, you know, that he disowned the holiday special immediately. I think before it was even broadcast, he was, you know, he was distancing himself.
Grumbling.
Yeah. So for him to make all the same mistakes with something he knew didn't work is fascinating. The other thing that's fascinating about it
I'm going to push back on that. You say he knew didn't work.
Well, he
take a look at the prequels.
Well, that's it. But he hasn't disowned the prequels. He's doubled down on you know, he's doubled down on the prequels, but he's always disowned the.
I feel like his double down on the prequels has more to do with the technology. Like, I did Jar Jar, and like people didn't like it, but look what it gave us. Like, it was the beginning of fully CGI characters. So,
well, that would be my argument. But whenever I've heard George Lucas talking about it, it says, yeah, the Phantom, like, no exaggeration, the Phantom Menace is the pinnacle of my directing career.
Oh man, I haven't heard that. That's amazing.
Yeah, that's legitimately have heard him say that. But the other fascinating aspect of it is that often, and this is very relevant to the prequels, often it's George Lucas. Well, I don't know how involved George Lucas is in this. He didn't direct it, but he did produce it. Mm-hmm. The solutions to the problems are worse than the problems themselves. So you'll see moments in this movie where he's trying to fix something that didn't work in the holiday special and somehow makes it worse through the solution. That's why this is such a fascinating watch in the Lucasverse.
Now, I'm assuming this has got to be a straight narrative, right? We're not watching a variety show. Bruce Valanche is not showing up.
No, but Burr Lives is. Burr Lives narrates this.
Okay.
But as many of you will know, and holiday season is upon us, Burr Lives was the narrator of the 1964 Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer stop motion TV special, which
that we all grew up with and loved.
Yeah, and still love. And you know, he's not technically listed as Snowman in the credits, but it's a very Snowman-esque narration, which is, I think that's where your variety is here.
All right.
And there's a lot of slapstick too, as you might expect from the Ewoks.
Of course.
Yeah. But also a lot of darkness, which you also expect with the Ewoks. They never come without the threat of violence and cannibalism. And the interesting thing about this movie is none of that is toned down for a family friendly TV audience.
That's great.
Which was one of the things I truly respect about the movie. We're not pretending that these guys don't, you know, are not human eaters and hunters.
You're right. Yes. No matter how bumbling they are, they still manage to capture, cook, and eat people.
But it is also, it does make it even less easy to understand how they defeated a galactic empire after the events of this movie.
With their sticks. Well, first of all, we should say to all of our listeners, we are watching this on Disney Plus. So by all means, look up Caravan of Courage, an Ewok adventure on Disney Plus.
Yeah, you're going to have to go into the Star Wars vintage ghetto of Disney Plus. And this is this is something that's happened since we've been doing these watch-alongs. This is a new area of Disney Plus, which is solely dedicated to the
garbage can.
No, that's the thing. It's interesting. It's a mix of high and low. So you have like really well-regarded Star Wars spin-offs like the Clone Wars that Tartakovsky did, the 2D Cartoon Network minisodes, which are excellent and have an amazing reputation. The Droids cartoon, which is also, you know, people are rediscovering that, and it's basically the Rockford Files with robots. It's a really good It's like a Stephen J. Cannell show
Well,
with droids.
You got me on board right
yeah,
there.
Yeah, exactly. It's really good. You've got the Ewoks cartoon, the other Ewoks movie, and very interestingly, given what we did last year, they've snatched, I suppose, the Boba Fett cartoon from the holiday special and put it in there as a standalone
so I was going to ask
episode.
You, because I hadn't been looking around.
Yeah.
The holiday special is still not there, though?
It's still never been officially released. And while Star Wars Vintage seems to be warming up to the idea of releasing it, and also in the meantime, we've had a Lego Star Wars holiday special, which makes numerous references to the original.
Right.
I
hadn't watched it yet, but I knew that it was there.
Yeah. And that's got Marla and Itchy and Lumpy in it, and Life Day is the focal point. But I actually think because they released the Boba Fett cartoon as a standalone special, that means that actually that's as close as we're going to get to the holiday special being released. I think that's their gesture towards releasing it without actually releasing it. Yeah.
Well, let me ask you this. What's your sense of the critical analysis of Caravan of Courage?
It won't surprise you that it was very poorly received.
Okay.
So initially by critics, it was...
As always, I've done no research, Tom.
Yeah. Critics had a real problem, I think, with the amount of fairy tale and fantasy tropes that are in here, which for me is a partial misunderstanding of the Star Wars universe, which already leans heavily into that. But secondly, I think what critics disliked is actually one of the parts of the movie that I think is actually very successful. I think if you watch this with just fairy tale and fantasy in mind, it actually works a lot better than if you try and relate it to any kind of science fiction. So I think they may have just been watching it wrong.
Hey, yeah.
But
you hear that, Lady Chew?
Which is not to say that this is without problems, but I think the amount of fairy tale tropes in there is not one of them. And I think it's generally poorly regarded in fandom, although interestingly, the whole reason that the movie is on Disney Plus in the first place is through a fan petition. So that suggests that there is a contingent of fandom that is pro.
Well, it might be a small band of rebels that are, very, 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 very animated.
Yeah. So it's, I mean, this is a bigger movie than you might suspect. I mean, it spawned a sequel. It was released, even though it was shown on American television, it was released on VHS, very early in the VHS era. I remember renting it on VHS as a child. And I don't really remember. This is like a mirror universe now. I saw this movie as a child and you didn't.
Right.
So I remember renting it.
We still don't know for sure. When it starts, okay. I'll have a better idea, Fair enough. I don't think I've seen it.
So I remember seeing the cover and going, yep, that looks like Star Wars. And all I remember from watching it is, yep, that looks like Star Wars. That's it. I have no other
impressions.
Yeah. And I think that is literally, that looks like Northern California where they film.
It is.
But now I know that. But as a kid, I could make the connection. And there's certainly, I think you'll see that they're certainly trying to fool you into thinking this is more of a legitimate Star Wars movie than it actually is through various means. So, and then, an international DVD, international theater release in Europe.
Yeah, right. I read that.
And then in the 2000s, both movies were released in a DVD box set. Now they're streaming on Disney Plus. And I think part of it also points to a sort of an uptick in the popularity of Ewoks in fandom and discourse, because they were acknowledged in the final Star Wars nonology movie, Rise of Skywalker, albeit briefly. They're a big part of Lego Star Wars as well. I've seen a lot of that because being a father of a young child. So it's interesting in that, and the Ewoks cartoon TV series came from this as well. So by no means think that this was regarded as the kind of failure that the holiday special was.
Mm-hmm.
It was more of a springboard to lots of other
that was my
Ewok-related
sense of it,
entertainment.
because, like you said, I knew at the very least there was a second movie.
Yeah.
Born out of this movie. That in itself seemed to signify to me that maybe this wasn't as poorly regarded as, the thing that Lucas doesn't want anybody to see.
And it was,
the holiday special.
and there was no holiday special fatigue when this was broadcast on TV. It was a huge event, and it was such an event that I don't know if you read this as well. This fascinates me. That they actually broadcast the audio track on radio stations.
Oh wow!
So you could listen to the movie in stereo while you watched.
That's amazing.
But I'm just thinking about the person who was tuning in to a radio station and didn't know the context.
Sure, right.
And hearing this kind of Ewokese for a good 15 minutes, and and panpipes. And the sounds of a forest, and a whining child saying how hungry they are. It's like, what is it? Is this a drama? What am I listening to here?
Oh, that's great.
Is this an emergency broadcast channel? So I think that's all fascinating. But again, we have a horribly unwieldy title that eats itself.
Ooh, man. By the time you get to the end of it, you're sweating.
So it was originally broadcast as an Ewok adventure. When they released it on VHS and in theaters, it was an Ewok adventure, Caravan of Courage.
Now it's Caravan of Courage, an Ewok adventure.
Oh, sorry. No. Yeah, no, I think they always did Caravan of Courage and Ewok adventure. Sorry.
Okay.
It just makes more sense to me the other way, so I keep saying it that way. And then when they put it on a box set, it was just an Ewok adventure again. If you go on IMDb now, it just says an Ewok adventure. What was the point of retitling it?
Amazing.
So that's where we're at. And it's also, one of the reasons we're doing it, apart from all those kind of nostalgic reasons that we're doing it, is that it's yet another sequel that's difficult to categorize where it stands in relation to the other Star Wars movies.
So literally, I had said I did no research, but I 5 minutes before we got on air here, I took a look at IMDb.
Yeah.
I did. The only thing I remember reading was that it's supposed to take place between Empire Strikes Back and Jedi.
Yeah. It for all we know, it might even be going on as Empire Strikes Back is happening. It's 3 ABY after the Battle of Yavin. I actually don't know how they arrived at that. There's nothing in the movie which indicates that
to suggest.
I think only because they seem only because the Empire are not there, or they're not aware that they're there. Although someone reckons they've seen an AT-AT wreckage in it, but I couldn't spot that. But that makes it a prequel to Return of the Jedi.
Yeah,
it's obviously it's a spin-off because the Ewoks are supporting characters in Return of the Jedi. But in terms of the trilogy, it's an interquel because it happens in 3 ABY, so potentially happens between two of the movies. But I mean, in another way, this is another reason that this movie was more influential than we might think. It's like the prototype for a Star Wars story, those anthology movies, like Solo and Rogue One. It's pretty much the same concept, the same spin. It's like take a very specific part of Star Wars and set it somewhere in the timeline. I mean, that's basically those movies. So they might have been road testing that idea in 1984 with this movie. Which is it's not to say that it doesn't retcon practically everything we know about the Ewoks. and Endor from Return of the Jedi.
Is that right?
But again, is that any surprise in a Lucas prequel?
No, yeah.
You'll learn some things about Endor that you cannot unlearn. That you'll never be able to. Basically, you'll never be able to rewatch Return of the Jedi again for various reasons. Yeah, I wanted to before we get going. I wanted to get a sense of how you feel about Ewoks generally, because they are a controversial. There are points of controversy within Star Wars fandom, and I think without giving too much away, because I'm sure we will do Return of the Jedi at some point on the podcast. I just wanted to know how you felt about that specific element of it.
Well, like, I mean, what was I? 12, even 11, maybe, when Jedi comes out.
Mm-hmm.
So, at that age, you do not give a shit. You're like,
right. Well, how do you feel about it now, though?
You think fantastic.
I mean, yeah, you were the target audience. I mean,
it's kind of hard for me to separate. What I guess my point is, it's kind of hard for me to separate, and which I think we've discovered through our adventures through sequeldom. It's hard for me to separate my first feelings from my now feelings.
But do you have any adult animosity towards them?
No, I really don't.
I don't either. I like, and partly, in the same way,
I am not Harrison Ford.
I'm suspending disbelief that, they're obviously a cynical ploy to sell toys.
Sure. That
led Lucas down a very dark road of appealing to specifically characters that appeal to children. And let's face it, he didn't learn his lesson. No, he made all the same mistakes again.
Yeah.
And although, as Simon Pegg says in Spaced, Jar Jar Binks makes the Ewoks look like fucking Shaft.
Exactly.
But I think probably it's safe to say that they're overused in Jedi. I would have liked them to have more of a kind of Jawa type screen time.
Mm-hmm.
I think they would have been more effective if that was the case.
But they were so hinged within the narrative of
that's it, yeah. But I have no conceptual problem with them, and I actually enjoy finding out about what.
And there was something to the idea always
definitely.
To me, the idea of using your sticks and your rocks against like lasers and armored walking vehicles.
Yeah. And people have made the Viet Cong comparison, and that's exactly. Not too. I don't think that's too out of bounds, given that we're only we're less than 10 years away from the end of the Vietnam War.
Mm-hmm.
That makes a lot of sense. And I think it's interesting. Like those contradictions carry on between a very a very family friendly character and also
as we said, cannibals and
I think you might be surprised. I think everyone would expect that to be toned down for this movie, but it really isn't.
Mm-hmm.
It's in fact more prevalent because
especially because it's on TV.
Yeah.
And TV was certainly different at that time than it is now. You could see more blood and guts on TV now than on movie screens,
Well, yeah, it's not
or as much.
Yeah, it's more you don't see it in terms of graphic violence, but they're obviously they're sentimentalized by design, but they're not there's no attempt to sort of undo that dark heart that we saw in Jedi when they are first introduced as not cannibals but killers of humans, hunters, warriors, that
adorable warrior hunters,
with weapons,
right,
with really murderous weapons, and that carries through here. So I think it's kind of interesting in that respect.
All right. Well,
but I'm glad you're going in with an open mind, Ewoks, because I think it would be a shame. I think if you were of the anti-Ewok persuasion,
if you were an Ewok bigot, you're not going to probably enjoy this, right?
This would be like that scene in Clockwork Orange for you, because there really is nothing else. There's a couple of kids and a few animals, and that's all you got.
Right.
The rest of it is pure Ewok.
Well, let's do this.
Yeah, unrefined Ewok.
Whew. I'm excited.
I'm not. We'll talk about, we sort of flip the format. We'll talk about good and bad and rankings afterwards, because you haven't seen it, and that's how we roll on the watch alongs. But I'm going to say, having done a preview, as I have to do, because I have to vet it like a parent for you.
Exactly.
Take out all the naughty bits, and it's like, why does this copy of Basic Instinct stop right here and then resume? But I'm gonna say that I'm not gonna say pleasantly surprised, but I was surprised.
All right.
This is a very different movie than I expected it to be, and I'm not willing to write it off yet.
What more could we ask?
Yeah, because and that's all I'm going to say, because we can make up our own mind in real time as we watch.
Very good. All right, well, ladies and gentlemen, hopefully you are currently at your Disney Plus and ready to go. Tom,
remember, Caravan
ready?
of Courage, not Battle for Endor. Caravan of Courage.
A Caravan of Courage. Really break down that title. That's something else. Caravan of Courage.
Yeah.
That's
great. I would have gone for, you'll see what I mean, I would have gone for the Outlaw Furry Whales myself.
Of course you would have. This is the creator of Hymens Are Forever. You're not going to mess up a title.
It's going to be on my gravestone.
Yeah. All right, ladies and gentlemen, here we go. Star Wars vintage, it says. Caravan of, there's two
vintage, it says.
There's two fucking colons in this.
Oh yeah, that was the other thing I was going to add, that now Disney Plus have added Star Wars vintage.
Yeah.
Again, like, why does this movie need to be ghettoized more than the words "an Ewok adventure" already do to it?
Caravan of Courage, an Ewok adventure. All right, here we go, everyone. We are ready to go in 3, 2, 1, go. There it is, Tom.
Yep. As far as you know, you're watching a real Star Wars movie. This is a brief subterfuge, I can tell you.
Yeah, you would get so excited as a kid when the 20th century would just come up.
Can you imagine? And we're straight into the Burr Lives narration.
Right into Burr Lives. It's so Snowman.
And an unconvincing moon. So definitely feels more like another holiday special at this point.
Uh-huh.
So it could be the beginning of E.T.
Oh, I was just going to say, this totally looks like the beginning of E.T.
Do you think Steven Spielberg's sitting at home going, "Oh, fuck, George.
Oh, come on, George, you asshole.
I'm going to fuck up Crystal Skull for you in 16 years. This is a great way to do exposition. Just shout people's names.
Right.
And then have a conversation.
Mace? Somebody's called Mace?
Yeah.
This is our second Mace? Is it a tall black man?
No. I don't think there's any black people in this movie.
No, 1984.
Billy D. Williams wasn't available.
Oh, Jeremy.
Now, not Mary Steenburgen has given us a nice bit of exposition, like telling her husband things that they both already know.
Right.
We'll get that again. Don't worry. you missed it then, you're going to get it after commercial 2. It's kind of a Star Wars-y looking ship in the background.
Yeah, sure.
Helps that it's at night and that it's broken.
It looks like Chewbacca took some Jekyll and Hyde potion.
Yeah. That title always reminds me of the show The Raccoons. You remember The Raccoons?
No.
Okay. Everyone look up the title sequence. It's one of the best title songs in cartoon history.
All right.
So yeah, you can see why fantasy and fairy
Joe
tale
Johnston.
Critics mind. Oh yeah. A lot of the Lucas proteges are involved in this. Hey, let's do that pan down from the sky that we saw.
We just saw this.
Yeah, you're
3
right.
minutes and 20 seconds ago.
It just happened a minute ago, and it's like it's the classic Jedi camera move.
Yeah.
Like the pan down from the night sky into Endor.
Yeah.
Let's see these Ewoks from a comfortable distance. Because close up, they're horrendous.
Right.
I know it was always Northern California, but somehow it seems less disguised Northern California.
Yeah. I was gonna say there was always something about Jedi that felt like a forest moon or planet.
Yeah.
You know, that
just you wait, the Emperor doesn't know what he's talking about if you go by this movie. There's Wicket, Warwick Davis.
Wicket.
In between his breakout Jedi fame and his Willow leading man fame.
There you go.
I don't think, does Yub Nub mean goodbye? Because that's very much how that came across there.
Yeah. I remember that from a long time ago. Yub Nub.
Yeah.
Means goodbye.
There's Burl Ives coming in.
Mm-hmm.
Before he came in, I was getting a real holiday special vibe to how much they were just talking in their own language without subtitles.
Right. Sure.
And I think the Burl Ives narration is there to offset
to bridge that gap. Yeah.
But this is one of the things I think makes it worse.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
And also he's contributing information that we could figure out visually.
Mm-hmm.
They're clearly getting in a hang glider.
As if we didn't know.
I could have sworn he said bitch there. Part of me was like, this is a family movie. You can't say bitch. And then I remembered there's porn in the holiday special. Like straight up porn.
Uh-oh.
There's a space goat, or as it's also known, a goat.
Everything about this feels dangerous for the actor.
1984, when you could just put a midget in a hang glider and set him off a cliff.
Send him on his way.
The good old days.
Man.
How many midgets did you lose today, John?
Only 4.
I'm using 1984 language, of course.
I understand. Yes.
I wouldn't use that terminology today. But I know they were using it.
Oh, yeah.
Roger Moore was still using it in Man with the Golden Gun, so.
How deep into this are we before you mention Bond? 7 minutes.
I
7
thought-
minutes.
I thought you were just generally asking how deep are we into this, as if you already thought it was about 20 minutes. Both questions are apt. Have you? I don't know if you've noticed while nothing's happening.
Right.
That,
I don't
Ewok-
think the rope was that long.
no, the Ewoks' faces don't move,
No.
but they did in Jedi, right? I'm not misremembering. Like, there's some animation to their faces.
Yeah.
Because these faces don't move, and the baby they're carrying is completely inanimate.
Uh-huh.
Like, there's no wriggling or anything. It's this dead baby in their hands.
Dead baby. See, again, this is very dangerous. You just got somebody in a costume on the side of a cliff.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm glad it was part of the narrative.
I don't know. I think
Was that idiot? Did he just say idiot?
My theory. I think they're just cursing up a storm here.
Yeah.
And it's gone by the censors because they're just like, oh, it's a different space language. Because he went, oh, fish, which is like, we know what that's supposed to be.
Ah, fuck. Hey, shut up, you asshole. Don't you call me an asshole, fuckhead.
It's kind of funny that Burl Ives is narrating this as if it's a nature documentary, like as if the Ewoks are a real species.
That was something I read right before we started. That was specifically what they were going for.
Oh, well, they achieved it.
Yeah, exactly.
The bigger question is, why on earth would you do that? Because I initially thought that the reason that the Ewoks didn't stand up to close-up scrutiny was that because it was for TV, but then they released it in theaters, so people would have to watch this on a big screen.
Interesting.
And see these inanimate faces for an hour and a half.
Are we about to find out that the kid was inside the ship the whole time? Stupid parents.
These kids have a tendency to leave at the drop of a hat, so I think that's what happened.
Okay.
I think they wandered off. Ooh.
Oh, that's good eating.
Yeah, it's like, that kid looks juicy. Again, this is what I mean. We haven't forgot that they like their human meat. It's really sinister when, given what we know about the Ewoks, that it's stroking her hair, the tenderest of meats.
You will butter up well.
And we do have dairy on this planet, as you'll find out.
It's very hard to tell if they're being nice or not.
I like the relative size disparity of the Ewoks makes it easy to think that that's a adult human who's about to come in, when in fact even Luke Skywalker, which I think is what they're going for.
Oh,
but
absolutely.
It's not. It's just Donny Osmond's stand-in. Do you think he called him mop face because it was an insult, or he has the face of a mop? Like, it literally is made of a mop. Oh, that was a good wipe.
We got the Star Wars wipe. I love it. I love it.
I think it goes in all directions.
Yeah.
Over the course of the movie. There's a llama, not a space llama, just a llama.
Just a llama.
How lazy is that? We need space. What if they did that for the cantina? It was just like a room of real drunks. It doesn't. It's science fiction, guys.
What
You
if
got
it
to
was
dress
all
it up
just
a bit.
a room of llamas?
Even in like early Star Trek, they put a horn on a dog.
Now, what's going on here? Why they're not up in trees?
Right, they don't live in Bright Tree Village. We do see Bright
But
Tree Village. That's
isn't that
Wicket,
Wicket?
yeah.
Well, he lived up in the trees.
Yeah, but this is a prequel.
Oh, there you go.
I'm sure there's a whole other movie or maybe a comic book explaining how
why
Wicket moved to Bright Tree Village after his, a lot of llamas started moving into his neighborhood.
I'd like to see the hero boy there on a spigot soon.
I like that, like, they're really trading on Warwick Davis's signature head tilt as Wicket with the Ewok's panpipe. And you know where he got that from?
No.
From his dog.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense.
Because he was never meant to play Wicket. He was one of the background Ewoks. It was supposed to be Kenny Baker, and he had diarrhea on the day. And so Warwick Davis got...
Wow, I never heard that. He
got promoted on the day. And he brought all the stuff of his own, like the head tilt, because he thought, well, Ewoks are kind of like dogs, so I'm going to do what my dog does.
Yeah.
Because he's like, what, 17? No, he's younger than that, even, like 13 or something, right?
Warwick at the time, you mean?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
So it wasn't just like a breakout performance. It was like he wasn't even supposed to be there.
Wow.
Like extra Hollywood kind of myth making there.
Because I tried to kill all the bears.
It's probably not wise to ask the Ewoks if they have anything to eat when you're a humanoid.
Yeah.
Because that's you.
You're the eats.
I love how when they give them the bowl, they're supposed to have food in it. There's nothing in it. It's just an already shallow bowl, and there's nothing in it. There's just no attention to production value here. It's medicine, you idiot.
Get your shit together, kid.
Where's Burl Ives to tell us this?
Yeah, right?
That would have been useful.
They were trying to communicate they had medicine.
Silver and gold.
That must mean good. Gunda.
Now, these kids have some bad line readings, but I actually think they're pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
And they're doing a fine job.
I mean, so far the whole look of the thing is fine.
Okay.
Fine.
Yeah. That may change. That may change.
All right.
Certain scenes of that may both
when you
improve
compare
upon
it to the holiday special. Come on.
Yeah. No, I'm with you.
After you're all better.
I don't know whether it was the way they were directed or whether they were just natural, but like all their emotions are reading.
Right.
Which is pretty good for kid actors,
Yeah, we got little ponies too.
We've got basically a whole petting zoo, which is revealed piecemeal throughout the movie. Oh, we got some log mischief here. There are a couple of features, these kids.
I'll say.
I've heard Deej say feature around these kids enough to know that there are a couple of features. Kid coughing is never good in anything.
Yeah, that kid's got COVID.
I think I'm too easy a mark because I find like her sickness and their relationship and like their sadness very affecting. So I think I'm just an Evie. As a father, I'm just an Evie Mart now. I don't find it overly mawkish at all. It reads as actually sincere and honest to me.
Mini Luke is a bit of a dick. He's just pushing the Ewoks around.
Well, Mini Luke is going through a puberty crisis, as you'll see in the rest of the movie. This is his coming of age story, basically, and he's still in, wormy, whiny Star Wars Luke phase.
He found one hair, and he's like having an existential crisis.
He's still heading to the Toshi station to pick up some power converters. It is kind of interesting because he's exactly in between where we first find Luke and where we first find Anakin in age.
Yeah, right.
Which I find fascinating and
not
a coincidence. And this would have been where you should start Anakin, I think.
Oh, yeah.
It was supposed to be that originally as well.
Well, that was a major fuck up.
Oh, yeah. It was very late on that he went down to 9. He was supposed to be like 13, 14 when it started.
Yeah, you. We could call him Mophead too.
Mopface.
Right. But I mean, you'd have to call him Mophead, not Mopface.
Oh, I see. Yeah, that's right. I was gonna say, you glass houses. You look more like a mop than the thing you're calling a mop. Well, it's an astute observation there from film critic Michael Shantz.
I've got opinions.
It's a good.
Fog machine's working overtime today.
Yeah, he's wearing Luke's exact X-Wing pilot outfit.
Right? Is this Maple?
Mace.
What's going on?
Mace.
Have these two kids mentioned their parents once?
No.
Okay.
They don't really trust the Ewoks yet because the first thing they did was turn a knife on them.
Of course. I'm just saying. You don't see young kids just not give a shit about where their parents are.
Well, that's the interesting thing about Mace. Like he's had to grow up very quickly, so he thinks he's self-reliant already. Okay, that's not
that was the hand of somebody who wanted to eat that thing.
I gotta say that's sub Muppet. That's Suppet.
Yeah.
Putting the hand in the tree, a la Flash Gordon.
Yeah.
This also counts as the first of his many Herculean trials that he'll go through in the movie.
Well, to me, they were that camera angle and the look on his face was like beginning stages of a serial killer.
I love that it's a shitty creature and then a good creature comes out of it. Like they realized halfway through. Well, let's just make it a little shitty creature and a good big creature.
No damage to the hand?
I think a big problem in this movie, and it's borne out by the credits, is that they outsourced a lot of their effects work to people other than ILM. And I think it shows sometimes.
Just drink this fire. You'll be fine.
Do you like Sambuca, little girl?
I'm starting to wonder when something's going to happen.
Yes. I think you said the same about this time in the holiday special as well, right?
Probably.
But unlike the holiday special, Wicket is now speaking in English. Galactic Basic.
Galactic Basic.
He's learning
their language.
Yeah. Which doesn't make sense given that they spent conservatively days with the rebels and didn't pick up a word
right
galactic there. But apparently Wicket can do that and already knows some words in basic, and none of that comes up in Jedi. Oh, not Drew Barrymore's doing a good job.
Yeah. Pepsi Drew Barrymore.
Yeah. At this stage, I don't think there's that much of a difference.
Right, that's true.
I don't think this kid could be in Charlie's Angels, but
Yeah.
Nor should she be. I'm gonna edit that out too.
Nor will she be.
Petting zoo. It is. They did actually get their animals from,
and the
like,
music is even
zoo.
sounding very E.T.
Yeah, I actually thought E.T.
Christ, more animals.
And I also thought it sounded a little bit like the Alexander Courage Star Trek theme.
Mm.
And I wonder whether the composer had like got the wrong brief. I thought they were doing a Star Trek movie, which makes even more sense when you find out who the soundtrack is recorded by. However, I've seen that. That's a llama. That's a cow. That's a horse.
Yeah, exactly right. That's a damn.
We have a lot of those.
Well, there you go. There's a little mouth movement. I guess because they still have the same costume for them.
Yeah. I more or less rationalize this as like Wicked is special, therefore he can.
Yeah, exactly right.
He can like he can do things other Ewoks can't. I think we must have had a commercial already because they're already restacking the exposition. Like we've already heard all this.
Yeah, exactly. That's so funny. I was just gonna say the same thing.
And now we're like restacking it through Ewoks and puppets and animals.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, my horse crashed.
And that's the thing, because it's TV, you have you restack after every segment. People might be coming in.
I'm feeling a little like whatever happened with the hang glider? What was the purpose of that?
Deej was trying to find his kids because they're idiots, as he says, idiots. And they got stuck on a mountainside.
Gotcha.
And then they saw the Star Cruiser from above, and that's how they found them.
All right then.
I actually do love how easy this movie is to follow compared to most Star Wars properties. I think a New York Times critic called it aggressively simple, and probably meant that as an insult, but I would have.
But you agree, and yeah,
because I would say that about Star Wars, the original, Star Wars.
Right.
Yeah.
Whoa, was that a diagonal? Was that a diagonal wipe?
I think it was, yeah.
Wow. I don't think I've seen that in any of the other Star Wars.
They must have got a new control board or something.
Yeah.
Hey, look what I can do, guys.
Hey, I can go a diagonal if you like.
I love it, like the casual George Lucas impersonator immediately goes to Kermit. Which is interesting given that his associations within the world of Muppets and Jim Henson.
Right. Is that a chicken, not a chicken?
No, it's just a chicken.
Okay.
They got it from a local petting zoo. It's credited at the end. So they have, and you see some eggs as well. So they eat like chicken eggs on this planet,
along with everything else.
Which makes me wonder why they didn't, when she said, "I'm hungry," they didn't just give her an omelet or something, you know? Like,
Fatten you up with people food.
instead, I'm going to give you an ashtray with nothing in it.
I made this in shop.
Oh, that's not a good angle for to see an Ewok.
Yeah.
From upside down with teeth out.
She's gonna fall over. No.
No, she's actually not like
A bumbler.
She's not a liability like most kids in
right.
movies are. Mace is a liability, but that's, I think, attributed to him being in puberty and thinking he's more of a man. Thinking he's more of a man than he is. It's his hero's journey, you know, but we're doing it in 90 minutes instead of 9 hours.
Right.
With bears.
And Jupiter.
Jupiter.
Pepsi Jupiter.
Pepsi Jupiter. Royal Cola Jupiter.
We've been going at least 1 minute.
Yeah, it does seem like that in the editing, doesn't it?
And want to bring all the terrible creatures to us.
All the stop motion animals that roam the
so
the
far
forest.
We've seen a wolf and
roided up Chewie.
Yeah, hide Chewie. I gotta tell you, as a backpacker, I want that fire starter.
The laser firelighter, that is my favorite bit of technology from this movie.
That's amazing.
Because in this movie, you could conceivably, it's lazy enough that you could just have them use an actual firelighter. But they've gone the extra mile and actually decided to make it sci-fi.
Right.
But just a little bit, in quite a homey way. Is there any hope for me? Because I find this scene genuinely poignant and moving when they're talking about their parents.
I love you.
But they're not like they're not overplaying anything. I think it's good.
But he's not great.
I think he's fine. And you know, is Mark Hamill doing anything different when he first comes into Star Wars?
I think he is. It's funny people always gave Mark Hamill shit in the original
I'm
Star
not giving
Wars
Mark Hamill shit. I'm just
I'm just talking generally.
This is the character that he's playing.
Like so many people think of Mark Hamill as a bad actor in the first trilogy, which is just wrong to me. And then also if you like get the DVDs and look at Kurt Russell and other actors trying to do the dialogue, they don't get it.
No.
And Mark Hamill does.
I think this kid's good.
I don't think he's terrible.
Dino Wolf.
Yeah.
There's some good Phil Tippett stop motion here.
Right? Oh, there you go.
Speaking of not learning lessons, it's kind of funny that he goes into a tree after what happened the last time. I was thinking the same exact thing.
I was like, the last time you found a hole in a tree, it didn't work out so good. This is all good. I like this.
This is really good. Well, it's Phil Tippett, like stop motion extraordinaire. But it's the only real stop motion thing in the movie, sadly. Yeah. That's been 3 seconds. He's probably gone. Get some rest. You got to say that if you're in a TV movie.
If you just survived.
Get some rest.
Get some rest.
That's Was
Are you kidding me?
Mel
I'm going to be
Brooks and
scared basically forever.
Mel Brooks and Carl Reiner's criteria for watching movies. You got to say, get some rest or secure the perimeter.
Wow.
They're pretty bad. The Ewoks are pretty badass to take on this
I was going to
fucking
say.
monstrosity. Wolf Rhino Velociraptor. Oh, Wicket doing the Scrappy Doo in the corner.
Yeah.
Let me at him.
Give me a chance. I'm Scrappy.
So good.
Yeah, it really is.
Such a good creature. They were actually road testing a new map painting technique, which is pretty effective here, I think.
No, we've seen this before.
Mm-hmm.
Swinging in on the ropes.
That's the origin of that one. That was great how it like attacked the camera like a 3D movie.
Is a powerful dart.
Yeah, you see poison darts and slaying monsters. The Ewoks, they have a dark side.
Yeah, right.
We haven't forgotten that. We've forgotten that they don't know how to speak basic, but swings and roundabouts. Yeah, come out of that tree that has the monster in.
Idiots.
Before that monster wakes up. We just killed this one. He needs that. He needs that life monitor for his life.
For his life.
Unless it's just a watch that tells you when Life Day is.
Yeah, right.
On the 17th, it goes beep, 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 beep. Thanks, Bill. Thanks for coming in at the exact moment I can tell what's going on through mime. There's a bird.
See? I mean, that looks like a chicken non-chicken.
I like
what kind of chicken is that?
I like that they're eating the monster. They're not going to let any of it go to waste.
By the way, like, there's no discussion about, hey, assholes, you left, and we had to come save you.
Right.
Idiots.
About 3 commercials from now.
Yeah. Don't worry about it. 40 minutes. 40 to 47 minutes from now.
In retrospect, it was a mistake to introduce the monster so early into the discussion because we don't see him for quite a while. Logray. You mean Logray from Return of the Jedi? No, totally different Ewok with the same job. Bright Tree Village.
Hey, there we go.
So Logray's there, but Wicket isn't there yet. So maybe Wicket just came there because he knew it was like a hub, a hub of activity, a Yub hub. Because Wicket was bringing Leia to Bright Tree Village, wasn't he?
Mm-hmm.
And he was trying to help her find the others. So he's probably like, well, don't come to my house because all we have is llamas and chickens. Let's go to the place. Let's go to downtown Endor.
But it also brings up this question, like with a place with so many chickens and llamas and other things that you could eat, because some people they save and then turn into like tree princesses, and other people they decide to eat. So what's the criteria?
Interesting. Well, I think they're using the chickens for eggs and the llamas for security.
Noted.
They love that human meat too much.
Just like that, like that succulent human meat.
How you liking this vision dreidel here?
Yeah, it's quite something.
Dreidel, 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 I made it out of clay. It has my parents in it.
What this movie needs is like some sound too. Like if the kids heard the parents say something like, "You know who I don't miss? Our kids."
She needs to get rid of that hairband. She looks ridiculous.
It looks good on you.
I can't believe that a year after Jedi, they couldn't even remember which bear costume they put on Logray. It's totally different. It's totally different color, shape. Yes, Burl. We know. We saw the vision dreidel.
No.
It's either or. Either the vision dreidel or you. Not both. Literally tell us something we don't know. There's a lot of unanswered questions. And you, Burl, have been nowhere near them.
To many things.
I guess what they do with Logray is similar to what they do with Boba Fett. Like,
so this is him?
Logray's the one with the skull on.
Yeah, okay. It kind of looks like what I remember.
No, it's not. I checked. I saw a picture of Logray. Totally different. So much so, I wondered if Logray meant witch doctor, and it was just a different witch doctor. But it's the same village, and Logray is a character name, not a job title. I checked on Wikipedia.
Wikipedia.
You didn't know about Wikipedia?
No.
How do you think I knew it was 3ABY? Nothing in the movie's telling me that.
Oh, that's fantastic. Well, I would hear something like 3BAY, and I would just sort of power down for a half second.
Yeah.
And say to myself, I don't know what he's talking about, but I don't care. And then I power back up.
Yeah, fair enough. Do you know what ABY is?
No.
After the Battle of Yavin.
Oh.
That's how you tell time in the Star Wars universe.
Perfect.
Ugh. Now, I remember the Ewok babies being cute animals in Jedi. That looks like the Eraserhead baby to me.
Yeah.
Ugh. Do you remember how cute that thing was in Jedi? Mm-hmm. Why can't they recreate that?
No money?
I have a suspect that they ran out of money, because there are some very good effects and some really terrible ones. Which seems to me like that mean, the Superman.
But that thing looks like it's diseased and about to explode.
Got to cut it open so the foam can come out.
Yeah, exactly. You got to release. Eventually. No, that had to be a commercial.
Yeah. Do you know what I think they should do now that he's entered the Star Wars universe? I think they should redub the voiceover with Werner Herzog.
That would be amazing. You're absolutely right.
I've just been taking his masterclass, and he was talking about how he based his narration for encounters at the end of the world on unsolved mysteries.
Mm-hmm.
Like all his timings and pauses were based on what he'd heard on Unsolved Mysteries, the TV show.
That's great.
The penguin will go for days, but why?
The traditional Ewok ceremony where they strip them of their skin and eat them.
You're going to love this. I have to mention James Bond again because these sacred totems are basically the Q's gadgets. Not one of them will be left unused.
It's like that backpack in Trolls 2 or Troll 2.
By the way, I love that you still call it Trolls 2.
I can't help it.
I know. It's great.
The candle of pure light. Mm-hmm. Get your hand off that. I tell you, it kind of looks like him to me.
Go check it out. He's a totally different color.
What was his name?
Logray. Logray isn't. It would kind of make sense if he was older, but the idea that he's a younger version of the Logray we see in Return of the Jedi is bullshit. They put the wrong bear costume back on the rack. Someone switched it in wardrobe, and no one noticed. These little bears are nuts. I'm going through puberty, so I'm going to be unsympathetic, difficult to watch.
They don't handle it like Harry Potter. Order of the Phoenix.
At least I can follow this story, though.
Get out of here.
I've got vision dreidels. I've got burl ives.
You've got redundancies.
I've got Greek hero archetypes. I'm good. I tell you what, speaking of other fantasy franchises, this saying goodbye for 20 minutes is very Lord of the Rings. We're still saying goodbye. You've missed nothing. Just getting on horses and waving to each other. Still.
Oh, see, so I'm looking at Logray, a picture of Logray, and you're right.
Yes.
But I think I remember Tebow, which is right next to him on my little thing I'm looking at here. Meet the Ewoks.
Well, they put Tebow's costume on Logray's hanger.
Yeah, I think
and
so.
And then when they pick them up again.
Exactly.
I'm almost joking, but that might actually be what happens. Hey, he's a good Logray, don't get me wrong. He's the Frank Pentangeli of Lograys. But...
Oh, here we go.
Here we go. Still saying goodbye. Some nice callbacks to the Ewok cheer from Jedi.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly.
Nonetheless, we have not left. This movie is called Caravan of Courage. That titular caravan is starting at...
Is this it?
46 minutes into a 140 movie. Commercial.
Oh, absolutely. It's starting to sound like the more rousing parts of Up the Creek.
I'd actually really like to watch the commercials that they showed during broadcast. I think you can do that on YouTube. You can also do that with the holiday special, and they've got some great ones. They covered it on the Indiana Jones Minute, the holiday special, and they watched the commercials as well. And they commented that everything that's being advertised here has now failed or no longer exists.
Oh, did it crush an Ewok?
No, it nearly killed his sister. This fucking idiot. Just laugh. I nearly killed a small child.
Oh, look at that. Hilarious.
With my stupid axe chopping.
Who, me?
Yeah, you nearly killed my sister. I'm with Mace
I got your
on this
nose.
One.
He's like, I got your nose.
I'm with Mace on this one. You nearly killed my sister.
Yeah.
Yeah, John Bunyan fuck. Logray says you need this. It helps you breathe underwater for 5 minutes. It unlocks all the keys in Endor.
It's a skeleton tooth?
Yeah. It's
like a skeleton key?
It's MacGuffin number 3.
Right.
Of 12. Oh, he's a good axe thrower. He's very nearly a man.
What up,
he can
assholes?
Throw an axe. Look at the way he's standing. I think he's really nailing this annoying pubescent kid thing. What's the name of Daniel Day-Lewis's character in There Will Be Blood? Daniel Plainview? Something like that?
Yeah, that sounds...
I can just see him going, I split your axe.
I split your axe. I split your axe in two.
That could be kids in the hall as well. I split your axe.
So the ivory tooth is returned, as you can plainly see, because he's doing it in front of us on the screen.
So yeah, you're probably getting the sense that this is, in the last few minutes, become a road movie.
Clearly. Also,
which is where I got the outlaw furry whales from.
That was an Ewok that wasn't with them?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, they're picking up Ewoks on the way.
All right.
This is a carpool of courage, is what this is. We're not done picking up. It's basically the rest of the movie is picking up people. People, you know what I mean? Ewoks.
Right, yes.
And I guess we know they're called Ewoks because of the toys, right? There was no... Because it still isn't said here. Good question, Mace. Well, I'm liking Mace more and more. He's asking
I'd like to see James Corden dragging this thing along and singing songs.
Yeah. Mace is asking some good questions. Why are we stopping? How long? Here's a question for you. How long do you think the original pitch was for this movie? Like what was the running time of the original pitch for this?
Oh, 2.5. No, half hour.
Yeah.
I'm going to go the other direction.
30 minutes.
Yeah.
And it doesn't seem to me that they've expanded the story beyond one that can be told in 30 minutes.
It's a half-hour story.
But to be fair to George Lucas, no one wanted it at half an hour. They only wanted like a feature length.
Stick your arm in this tree.
Come here, meat on legs. That'd be great if they were just hazing him every
Yeah.
time. It's like, no, there's this time there's definitely no monster in this tree. No, definitely not. It turns into a common or garden lizard.
We eat them.
We found this on the set. And it saved us money to use it instead of making something. Oh, dear.
Does that mean, boy, he's being a big dick?
It struck me at this point that I don't know if it charts through the whole movie, but this part of the movie is definitely the Empire Strikes Back part of the movie. Oh, yeah, okay, circular wipe.
Oh, hey.
Because there's lots of trials and tests. The tone gets a lot darker. Mace is constantly going, we're wasting our time.
Mm-hmm.
There's like Yoda-like figures. Heading out of the forest on the forest moon of Endor,
mm-hmm.
which apparently has more than just forest.
Got some plains.
Sheev didn't know what the fuck he was talking about. They should special edition that. Go to the forest moon of Endor. Actually, it's not.
So a second
forest
ago,
moon.
he's like, what the hell are we doing? And now he's like, I think I'll take a time out and skip some rocks.
This might be my favorite part of the movie. Although it does feel very Little House on the Prairie. There's no kid who gets that close to a river without falling in it.
Mm-hmm.
But he is magicked under there.
Wow.
It's pretty. I mean, that's if you're a kid watching this, it's very troubling.
That would be scary.
This is like a public information film about water safety.
And clearly, once again, no safety precautions for the child actually filming it.
Yeah, the child.
They're like, we're just going to hold your legs. Look really scared.
It also seems like he's under glass inside there. If anything goes wrong, just break the glass and swim through the sharded glass. I'm the reason people die. It's a very troubling scene.
I'll say.
He's been under, I mean, he's, if this scene is in real time, he's dead, but
yeah, right.
I'm surprised now it's on Disney Plus they didn't special edition in Jar Jar, like rescuing him.
Yeah, put it in slow, Wicket. Nice and slow.
Well, it's a magic stick, you see. Ugh. It's got one of the things I guess I like like family-friendly movies from this period is that they were full of danger and violence and fear.
Mm-hmm.
Like a moment like this is not uncommon in a kids movie of this time, and I think we've backed off that a little bit.
Right.
I don't know if that's because it was more,
Well, and even just this idea of the kids being on their own.
You're right. But yeah, that's it. Like, I don't know how intentional it is. Like, we want our movies to have a little bit of, some rough edges around them, some danger, or whether it's literally like, we don't watch our kids. We let them do whatever.
Right. Because I was just going to say,
we don't think this is dangerous. I don't know where the line is.
When I was 5, or 6, I would walk to school by myself.
Yeah. Me too. Me too. I think I walked to and from school by myself for most of my high school, in fact.
All through elementary school.
Is that not a thing now?
I don't think so.
I don't think so either.
Kids are dropped off. And I mean, I used to, my brother and I, on a weekend, like we'd leave at 8 or 9 a.m. and we would come back when the sun went down, when it was or when it was time for dinner. You just wouldn't see us.
I was still part of that generation for sure.
And kids just don't do that like at all anymore.
No, that definitely has changed. I mean, it's not the speeder chase, but it's a nice little nugget of action, you know? It's more exciting than anything we've had for the last since the last commercial. So, of course,
if you say so.
Of course, this is going to end in a commercial. That's it.
He's like berating the horse.
Yeah. The horse is like, give me a break. I've got like 1,000 tons. I've got 1,000 tons of weight on me. It took them all of the commercials to get here.
Yeah.
Yay.
Yeah, wipe it. Wipe it.
Wipe it. If in doubt, wipe it. If a problem comes along, you must wipe it. That's my Weird Al Yankovic parody song. George Lucas is Wipe It.
Just wipe it.
Yeah, you give that horse that. What is that? A yak? That's a yak, I think.
Mm-hmm.
They've literally just they've raided the local petting zoo. I think it's called the Reserve. It is in the credits. Because I kept making the note, this is like a petting zoo, and by the end, I made the note. These animals are
check up on the petting zoo that supplied.
The animals are from a petting zoo. Part of the lazier side of this movie, I think, is just the number of. Also, I hope these kids got their rabies shots with this amount of animals wandering around. Of course, we know they didn't.
No, yeah, exactly.
That wouldn't even happen in a big Hollywood movie.
All these child actors are dead now from rabies.
Here's Tinkerbell. As if there wasn't enough fantasy in this movie, we have a little.
What the hell?
Have a little fairy, or miniature fairy flying around.
Anybody else see this?
I shouldn't have.
It's all on Disney Plus now, so it's fine. But back then, Disney was probably pissed.
I shouldn't have drunk that fire medicine. Fuck me up. To me, this just looks like they're road testing the effects for Hook.
Yeah. I mean,
what must have happened is Spielberg got on the phone with Lucas saying, "Why are you stealing all my stuff?" And he said, "Well, do you want the Tinkerbell thing that we did?" And he was like, "Yeah, okay, I am doing that Peter Pan movie. Okay."
I'm also not seeing the great work of Murray Futterman from Gremlins 2. Being able to, look up in the sky and make me believe there's a gargoyle flying over him.
In a minute, you get a real sense of that electricity gremlin as well.
Yeah.
Yes, there's an electricity gremlin in Gremlins 2, the new batch. Never forget. I don't know why. I don't know why they're. Go on.
Go ahead.
I don't know why they're so bothered by these fireflies, fairies, whatever, not doing anything to anyone.
No.
They're not interacting.
Well, this Ewok knows. Went back to bed.
Yeah.
Like,
I'll wait for the next commercial.
Yeah.
What were you going to say?
Oh, I was just going to say, had you been watching any of Eli Roth's History of Horror?
I have indeed. I just finished the most recent series. Sequels that don't suck.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask you.
Yeah. I did see that. And
very good episode.
I think I like, you know, I liked how positive they were towards horror sequels, but I still think if they expanded beyond horror, they would find much the same.
Right.
But there are a lot of sequels worth looking at in every genre. But horror is an unusually fertile
ground for sequels, right?
Medium. Yeah.
Oh, she's going to start a fire.
Actually, the opposite. Because remember, everything they have.
I'm saying in reality.
No, okay. Everything they have solves a narrative problem. Everything that Logray gave them in that ceremony is a narrative problem waiting to be solved.
Troll 2 backpack.
But, you know, the candle of eternal light or whatever it's called is just arson. You know, that's
by the way, what's the narrative problem? Just that they were around?
That's the thing. I don't think the effects are good enough to show that they're harming or disrupting them. If that's what they were going for, it doesn't look up. But that candle turned it back into another little dancing thing like we got in the holiday special. Again, not learning your mistakes, George.
Right.
Scenes of just little people dancing. I mean, this is where I thought Electricity Gremlin.
Yeah.
It's like a little Toya Wilcox.
It's so weird. It almost makes you forget our parents are about to die.
It really, I mean, when she's dancing, when that little light fairy is dancing in his hands, I'm like, yeah, this is very much cut from the just another thing to look at for a few minutes crop that the holiday special gave us. Circular wipe.
Hey, we're like it certainly felt hey, George, we started at 30 minutes. Right now we've gotten up to about 1:04. So we'll watch them walk across these plains. We're gonna get to 1:05.
Yeah.
Just padding time.
I have that note again and again. We're just padding time because everything means we have to come up with fewer effects.
Right. Yeah. So we're gonna have to eat one of you bears.
That line must have been really disconcerting if you're watching this in a movie theater where you can't see a clock. I don't know how long we have to go.
Right?
Because at least on TV, you're like, okay, it's definitely ending at like 10.
Yeah.
But in a movie theater, you'd be like, oh no, I didn't check the running time before I came in.
We might be fucked.
We've just started the Caravan of Courage.
Because I said that to you. I think we hadn't started recording yet when I said, I looked this thing up on IMDb and it said it was 3 hours and 30 minutes or something like that. And I was going to be like, hard no, Tom. I'm not, no.
I have made you watch movies that long on the watch along.
Not 3.5.
Batman versus Superman was about that.
2.5, maybe.
No, Batman versus Superman was 3 hours. Anyway.
Is it really?
Yeah, I didn't think you had I don't think you had the work schedule you have right now back then. It was right in the middle of lockdown. We're still looking at this little Woodstock thing.
Yeah. We devoted a whole second scene to it.
Wait a minute. Were there 3 candles there? So has she made another candle of eternal light? Or... So why is this fun when it's 1, but annoying when it's 50?
Yeah.
I don't understand anything about.
That's all right. Neither do the filmmakers.
You asked
trying to get to the next commercial.
Yeah, you asked whether this was a variety show, and I think
this is the variety portion of the movie.
This
sure.
and Their Lives as your vaudeville for the evening.
Commercial.
And we're going into the Forbidden Zone, apparently.
Yeah, I was just gonna say.
Remember the forest moon of Endor. We're heading into the desert. I definitely think we should have. So Lucas should have dubbed that with the Emperor saying, "Well, technically, it's not all forest. There's a desert. It's fairly mountainous." Although this bit here looks like the beginning of Star Trek V, The Final Frontier.
There you go.
With that guy turning, the bald guy with the weird teeth, dining for water before Cybok comes and shows him the way. Again, never forget. It's reminding you of things from sequels you'd like to forget. Remember Cybok? The Star Trek canon certainly doesn't.
Even she's looking around like, fucking desert?
Are we not there yet?
What the fuck?
The Emperor clearly said.
This is starting to give me Krull vibes.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. They're definitely working in that fantasy wheelhouse of quest. And then which I think is a very 80s thing, that it's all quest and then like 2 minutes of confrontation at the end.
Yeah, you're right.
That seems like a very 80s fantasy thing to me.
Mm-hmm.
And again, I'm sure budget has a lot to do with that.
Sure.
They're hoping that you enjoy the journey, not the destination. Hence Caravan of Courage.
Got a souk. Is he telling him he sucks?
No,
you suck. You suck.
Hey, remember that rock that you threw away? Like everything else Logray gave us, we need it now to solve a narrative problem.
Eye?
Fortunately, Wicket's better than you, and he picked it up.
Wicket's got a wicket.
He's kind of the star of this. Yeah, I saved your ass.
Yeah. Now I get to eat you. He can't suppress the dickish part of him.
It's interesting. Like he talks about rocks as if he has like a lot of experience with both rocks of high and low intelligence.
Right.
It's like, it's not one of those, professorial rocks. It's another flint thing. They're all basically the same. These sacred ornaments are all basically the same, right? Just like slightly pointy metal.
It's an obsidian arrow.
Oh, it's a compass.
Oh, I see.
It points the way. Well, you already know you're going to the top of the mountain, right?
Well, yeah, exactly. Because I thought, what's he going to put that on the end of a stick and then shoot it up into the mountain? And it'll just happen.
But there's a secret. It points out the secret entrance.
There you go.
Either that or there's a big fuck off magnet in there.
He pondered that for a moment and then said, yes, this is a good idea.
Also, and I hadn't really thought about this, but going with this sort of early 80s darker tone, that's just a kid wielding a gun.
Yeah.
With no comment within the scene that it's a kid wielding a gun.
And all the things that come of a kid wielding a gun.
As if it, watching this while watching the trial of Kyle Rittenhouse concurrently is an easy feeling. Oh, do you think that arrow would have led you to a place where you'd be in danger? You're good.
You're fine.
You're fine until the next commercial. Because we literally don't have any money for you to do anything. We got a good blaster noise there, though. We got a classic Ben Burt blaster.
It's funny you said that because I noted that. I was like, oh, that blaster sounded good.
Again, just occasionally things are thrown into audio-visual subterfuge to make you think you're watching a real Star Wars movie. This is a nice choice. Yeah, there we go. See, he gradually grows up as the movie goes on. It's real coming of age storytelling.
Yeah.
Because, he's now listening to reason and acting selflessly. And child labor laws mean that you have to go home now.
Right.
For at least a day before we can exploit you again.
Before we throw you off a cliff or bury you under the sand or throw you into a lake.
Oh, I'm sweet.
That's funny though.
I like it even
Wicket behind.
Yeah. Well, he hadn't done Willow yet, so if this was post Willow, probably there would be no humans in it. It'd just be the adventures of Wicket.
Oh no! Look at this. This is total Krull.
Krull and Last Crusade as well.
Yeah.
The chasm with the cobwebs that look like they come from a Halloween store. Oh, it's the spiders.
Yeah.
Mike, the spiders.
All he has to do is say Lisa.
You're about to see the exact moment in this production where they ran out of money. Look, you see it?
Yeah, that's great. I like that he was surprised by it.
Well, you would be. You'd be like, wow, that Dino Wolf is really good. This looks like something you get at the Halloween store. I don't say this lightly, but the spider is sub-70s Doctor Who. I don't think I've ever said that before.
Well, it sounded like he said "Gone Baby G." Gone Baby G.
He's a big I've forgotten his name. What's the name of the guy? Gone Baby Gone.
You mean Ben Affleck?
No. The big African-American guy with the bald head who everyone liked for a while until they realized he could only write 1.5 songs. Something low.
You can't
Crazy. Yeah, no, I'm crazy. Who's that guy?
I don't know.
Okay, never mind.
I can't
I want to say Skilo, but it's not Skilo.
Skilo.
No, it's not Skilo.
I'm the wrong guy to ask when it comes to. Is that because the gun went into the water? No, he just blew it up with a rock. What am I talking about? What's going on?
Well, the spider?
Well, no, the kid was gonna shoot it with his ray gun, and then it didn't work.
But wouldn't you know?
Hey, look at that.
They've got one remaining item from Low Gray's jumble sale. I told you it's Q branch.
Oh, you could see the wires a little second ago.
Some of those wires double as cobwebs, which I appreciate.
I get
but it's not enough. It's not enough. Oh, it's bad. Even the web
Wow.
is clearly like from a school gym.
Yeah. Anybody asking how they're going to get back?
Just throw some dust
Yeah,
to mark
right.
out the magic path, a la Last Crusade.
Oh, there we go.
Actually, they do answer
some
the
matte
question.
paintings.
Actually, this is how good the storytelling is in this movie, Mike. They do remember that there is a chasm there later on.
All right.
It's aggressively simple, you know? It's good. A to B storytelling all the way through. God. Yeah, you must have really been running out of money and time if you have to do
Man.
2 of these Halloween Spider. Tell you what I do love. I love how Wicket is knifing that spider like a gang
Right.
member. I tell you, they're little psychopaths. Give them an inch and they will knife the shit out of you. I love it. He's like, like Shiv style.
I have this overwhelming feeling right now that this would have been a perfect hour-long show. Like,
I think even that's being a tad generous by
because
about
45
30
minutes with commercials. Like,
I think in the end, Lucas was right. This is half an hour.
yeah,
Like,
no,
it's a rare occasion when he knows his own material better than even he thinks he does. This is very Temple of Doom, which came out.
But
the same year.
I'm saying it's getting a little, it's drawn on too long. Like, I could have stuck around for an extra 15 minutes.
Well, the problem is, I think the biggest problem is that because it's TV, you have to reset every time we go to commercial.
Yeah.
Like, you have to restack everything again, and you build it to a climax and then do it all over again. Like, if you could get away from that.
That was pretty funny.
This is one of the most fairy tale moments, I think. The giant eating bones at a dinner table.
It looks pretty good, though.
Oh, it looks great.
I mean, come on.
It looks great, but I can, I understand what the critics are talking about. Like, it's pure fantasy, fairy tale.
Yeah.
But if you tune into that, it's much more
we're
enjoyable.
in beanstalk territory.
Yeah, we are. This is what Once Upon an Endor.
He's like, I don't want to just eat these bones. I'll eat these people I've been keeping for just long enough for them to get rescued.
You think that they'd be in a little free range pen rather than a battery cage. It's not gonna help. The Ewoks will probably be like, no, you got to let the humans roam around a little bit before you slay them, before you cut their throats and hang them upside down. What does this monster remind you of? Oh, I know. I know from within the Star Wars universe, it's like a mashup of the Rancor and the Wampa, but it also reminds me from something outside the Star Wars universe as well,
like Troll 2.
There are other movies. Other movies are available. There's a lot of Star Wars mashups in here, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Like Anna Lukin. Mace is basically Anna Lukin.
Yeah.
And he's a Womp Core. Or a Ranker. You know what to do. Stick the bone in his mouth. Run away. Activate the trapdoor with your rock.
Activate the door.
With that rock. You shouldn't have smashed that rock, should you?
I'm game.
It
seems more dangerous to me.
In Ewok Easy saying, Now it is the time in the story where you become a man.
Yeah.
You need to do this one thing and you will be a man. Have you ever read a book called The Hero's Journey? I've never saved my parents' life at such a young age. Do you think that
Yeah,
means
I was
you
a
can...
little older the first time I did it.
Do you think that do you think that that means you're good for the rest? You could do literally whatever you wanted
Right?
for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
Could like smoke crack until you're 90 and you'd
You
still
set the
be a hero.
backyard on fire. I saved your life, okay?
At great risk to my own as well. That's the other heroic bit.
Yeah.
Eat
Now
your
they're
heart
all
out.
stuck up there.
Eat your heart out, chasm scene in Star Wars.
Now they're all stuck up there.
Gotta get out of here? Does that really need to be said?
You don't say. I've been up here for fucking weeks.
I'd love it if he said, like, he looked around and saw that they'd like set up a little house with a tea set.
Now what's going on here? Why is he climbing up? How about they climb down? That's not the hero's way. I'm going down first.
Yep. The dad's like, well, I guess I'm not the alpha male anymore. I'll just go and shoot myself with a blaster in the woods.
I tell you, this little Ewok is, you know.
One of them is Tony Cox. Is it that one?
I don't know.
You know Tony Cox, though, right?
Yeah.
From Jingle All the Way and
yeah,
and other better movies. I guess he's kind of orky, right?
Yeah, a little.
Which
there's
is
something
sort
else
of
though.
Unsurprising given how much Star Wars trades off Lord of the Rings. And that this is way more fantasy than even the most fantastical Star Wars. Oh. It's just a stupid basket. There's no bear meat inside it. What was he saving the parents for? Special occasion? Like, you're gonna have a dinner party with the other roided up Chewies?
Oh dear Lord.
Oh,
that was a good looking shot.
Yeah. There's like a palpable sense of danger here.
Run away.
There's a palpable sense of danger here. I wish there'd been more of this sequence.
Mm-hmm.
Finally, the axe-wielding maniac comes good. Finally finds a use for his axe that doesn't kill a child.
Should we come on?
Reminds me of Roger Moore dangling from the Golden Gate Bridge.
Mm-hmm.
Hold on. The thought had occurred. Yes, this monster is bothered to death
Is this monster gonna fall and become the bridge?
and become the Grinch.
The bridge.
Oh,
Because
oh
that
no,
would be
that would have been better.
hilarious.
But the problem is, you've got to do a callback. Whew, that
Oh,
monster's
oh,
getting pelted.
oh man.
That is not family friendly viewing.
That was violent.
Yeah.
Oh, is this like the Jedi moment when
Yeah.
you see the
That's exactly what it is. I'm gonna say they pulled the same mawkish move in Return of the Jedi.
Yeah. No, I'm fucked, buddy.
Yeah. No, this can't be right. I mean, it's sort of poetic justice for nearly killing my sister, but I've forgotten that because I'm a man.
So it's funny because literally 60 seconds ago, I was about to say, so they're not going to do the Jedi thing where you have even one bit of loss.
It must have been like the first, like in the writer's
Something
room.
made me stop.
It must have been like on a whiteboard in the writer's room.
Yeah.
One Ewok death per adventure. But I'm grateful that they had that rather than letting them all live.
Yeah.
How do you get across a chasm in Star Wars? There's only one way.
Gotta trip a giant.
Let's do this. I saw it in Star Wars. Him forming a bridge would have been a great idea, but alas.
Uh-oh.
I will eat you last.
Oh. I'd like some dirty violence. Oh, see, I thought it was really gonna like go through his skull.
That they've got two. That crystal is like a double MacGuffin because it solved two narrative problems.
Yeah.
Didn't even come up with like another sacred ornament.
But now is he gonna show up in front of the little girl? Because the spider fell and just showed up.
Well, you did technically.
Yeah.
So that's how all this started.
Oh, you mean to death? I
understand. Not like that time you left us in the woods on a planet full of killer bears and dino wolves and roided up Chewbacca's and llamas,
chickens, ferrets,
eggs, Tinkerbells, tree monsters.
Didn't I tell you to stay put?
Hey, that's straight out of the horror playbook. That's a final scare right there for the monster.
There you go.
Nice. Yeah, classic, folk.
I got to admit,
horror forest.
I did not expect it.
No, because it's not a slasher movie.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of axes and knives in it.
Boom.
Actually, maybe it is a slasher movie. We've probably seen as many Blade-related kills as a slasher movie. Crashed. I will forget this language immediately when the other humans arrive. Yub nub, yay! We say yub nub for no reason. See, look,
I'm going first, humans.
They swung across the chasm a la Luke in Star Wars. Because that's what you do with chasms. No, I can't take it. However, you have made me redundant as a man. So I'm just going to jump in this chasm, okay?
Later.
Oh no, I have your file letter. Yeah, I don't know why you haven't got out of there already.
Yeah.
Could have done this outside in the forbidden zone. This is great. This is like the ending of Return of the Jedi, but made for TV.
So they're not making music out of skulls and
yeah.
helmets.
We're gonna celebrate with a quiet dinner party at home.
There you go.
Yeah, we're still not quite sure what you are or what you did, but thanks for saving us.
Thanks for everything. Now get the hell out of here.
Special effect that we're not sure is going to work. And nearly didn't. It's like no wonder we ended up with Jar Jar, given how George Lucas feels about special effects interacting with the people on screen.
Oh, wow. They really go for it. So reminiscent.
Here you go. Here's an empty ashtray for you.
Here's an orange cup filled with ashes from the ashtray that we didn't eat from earlier.
Remember, Jedi? It was only a year ago. Aww. That's Mary Steenburgen. I don't think it is. And John Ritter, too. No, I'm pretty sure that's not John Ritter either.
Although he does look familiar.
Aww. Again, we are two really lucky fathers is a line that got me. It feels like an honest piece of schmaltz to me, you know?
You almost forget about good old Burl.
And if you see a monster, stab it! Stab it now! There you go. There's a lot of unanswered questions there.
Well,
are they going to get...
There you have it. Deej. Weechie. Oh, he's up there.
Did you wonder what was going to happen to them? Are they going to fix their spaceship, get out of there, or are they on Endor forever?
Yeah, that was what I was just thinking of.
Yep, no resolution there. We'll have to find out next year when we do Battle for Endor.
There you go.
If indeed it comes up at all. Burl Ives is listed as special guest narrator, which implies that there's a regular narrator and that there have been Ewok movies before. Neither of which is true.
That's amazing.
George Lucas's name is really small. I think he distanced himself from this too. Now, why on God's green earth is the Munich Philharmonic Orchestra playing the music for this?
Oh, how do I know?
And is this why they thought it was Star Trek? Because it was like a mistranslation? I don't get how you can have additional effects when Industrial Light and Magic is an entire company dedicated to special effects.
It's just to special effects.
It's like, why do you still need to outsource? Da-na-na-na-na-na. Oh, it is very E.T. as well.
Yeah.
It's like, it's Pepsi John Williams again. And a little bit of Pepsi Jerry Goldsmith. Oh, there you go. That's
That was something else.
that's Caravan of Courage. So, what do you think?
Well, naturally, my first thoughts are, like you said, shouldn't probably be as maligned as it probably was at the time.
Yeah,
There's plenty of good stuff in here.
there is.
Yeah.
Yeah, go on. Yeah.
But its biggest problem is, yes, it should have been a half hour.
Yeah, pacing and length, I think, are the huge.
Yeah, there's a half hour worth of story.
Right. Yeah, I had much the same feeling. It's not good. It's not bad. It's not so bad it's good. It's not as bad as the holiday special. It's just uneven for me.
Mm-hmm.
Like, actually, I think characterization and story works perfectly well.
Yeah.
I think the acting is fine. There's some bad line readings in there, but overall, I buy the acting too. But yeah, pacing, that having to constantly reset after commercial is a big problem.
Mm-hmm.
And also the fact that it's 90 minutes in the first place is a huge problem when it's 30 minutes of story.
That's its biggest problem.
And also, you know, the effects are uneven as well. You get there's some amazing stop motion and creature
there really
work
is
in here.
Like, some of that looked really fantastic,
but there's also some really bad effects, like the spiders and the tree monster. And I think on the generally in production value, there's a lot of lazy stuff, like the petting zoo animals, and the, you know, I don't know why I'm so fixated on this, but things not being in bowls when you're saying it's food. It's an easy one, you know. It's a gimme. Yeah. So that's how I feel about it. I wouldn't be drawn on good versus bad, but I think it's mediocre.
Yeah.
Highs and lows.
Absolutely. Did we put the holiday special in a ranking?
I think we did. I think we kind of bracketed it. Well, we both bracketed it, I think.
Okay.
And I mean, by which I mean I said something ludicrous, like I don't like it as much as the prequels, but probably like it more than the sequels, just because I still have that division in my head where the sequels are somewhat fan fiction, whereas the prequels, for all their faults, are part of the real thing. So this feels like it's definitely a part of the real thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. It was less of a ranking. I think I would put this definitely in the prequel holiday special bracket of batshit crazy Star Wars that remains watchable.
Okay.
What about you?
Yeah, I would agree with that mostly. I think it's also has to do with expectations.
Right.
So, you know, this doesn't bother me as much because I didn't expect as much from it as I did the prequels. So the prequels bother me so much more in that way.
I guess that's
where I almost prefer this.
Right. No, completely.
Yeah.
I could go that way too. Not Attack of the Clones. I could go that way with the other two. But that's interesting because I think in 1984 you would have been hyped up from Return of the Jedi.
Maybe. And this, but I definitely had not seen this.
Okay.
In any way, shape, or form. So that's interesting to me in and of itself, that Jedi had come out. We're only a year removed.
Yeah.
You're probably dying for content.
Right.
And I skipped it.
Yeah, it's interesting. Because you had your fingers burned by the holiday special.
But that's what I was going to say. That even though you had, I think, mentioned that just the idea of that the holiday special maybe had not burned that bridge, because this was watched, right? I mean, it was.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah, it was
big numbers at the time, I assume.
Big numbers, yeah, and obviously sustained ancillary release on VHS and
right,
and in theaters. I have a hard time imagining this movie on a theatrical screen.
Yeah,
I think I mean,
it's a television movie.
Yeah, and you should probably watch it with the commercials where possible, because then you get a better sense of, oh, they're breaking for commercial. That's why the action just stops and we have to start all over again. As opposed to when you're watching a theatrical movie, it's like there's no need to stop every 20 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there's literally no reason to
ever do that,
to give us a climax here and then start all over again.
Yeah.
But also just, you know, I think I can't imagine how those spiders would look in a theatrical setting.
That's the moment where if the screen's this way and your friend's sitting over here and the spiders come out and you go,
mm-hmm. like we both did when we went to see Rocky for the Rocky versus Drago director's cut, and in the pre-movie interview, Sylvester Stallone said of Rocky 4, you know, we're not trying to come up with a political message here. We both simultaneously turned to each other in disbelief.
What?
Yeah, it's
because it's in the whole movie,
right? Yeah, I think this is actually we've done it this way, but it might make a nice alternative, especially now it's available on Disney Plus, to the holiday special.
Mm-hmm.
You get the same, because you do get those, like you said, you do get those sort of variety elements with the dancing fairy, mm-hmm. miniature fairy, and the Burl Ives.
The Burl Ives is kind of baffling.
Yeah, if I didn't know that it was built into the concept, I would have thought that it was part of the because it seems more designed for television than anything else,
right,
in the movie. But I could also imagine it. You could re-record that narration. You don't need to have narration at all, of course. But right. If you were going to have it, you could re-record it. Someone who isn't as synonymous with Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer.
Mm-hmm.
Werner Herzog, I think, is my number one choice. Okay, what is this we're doing today? Okay. No, I've still not seen Star Wars. No. Yes, I'm in Star Wars. I've still not seen Star Wars.
I don't know how the parents ran away from the ship. I don't know.
That would be great. But why?
I don't know how they got separated so far apart. Actually, they're not separated. The girl was in the ship. So she was there. She was there the whole time.
I think I do like how straightforward the storytelling is. And I think that was at the time seen of something.
That's the one thing that's always more difficult for me and the watch-alongs, is that I do not pre-watch the movies, and so I'm trying to watch them as I listen to you and comment as well. Yeah. And so I I missed that bit at the beginning. I was like, what was the whole deal with the hang glider? To me, I was like, why do we spend 15 minutes on that? Did that have anything to do with anything? You had to set me straight on it.
Well, yeah, but I mean, maybe that's, but they were padding as well. So you're also probably thinking with your economy brain.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Your narrative economy brain, and that doesn't exist here.
No.
But the story itself, the causality of it is, for a Star Wars movie, apart from the original Star Wars, which is
linear,
the rest of them, the stories are pretty dense,
multiple storytelling in the other movies, as opposed to
this is sort of refreshingly refreshingly linear, and and it's falling back on a lot of tropes from Greek mythology and fantasy that we can all read through.
Recognize, yeah.
Makes it very followable in a sort of universal sense.
Sure.
And despite the fact that the mythology of Endor and the Ewoks is rewritten extensively here, the characterization of the Ewoks is pretty much what you get in Return of the Jedi.
Yeah.
Which is interesting to me. I always assumed that they would tone down the more barbaric elements of their species, but in fact,
but not so much.
No, there's as much, if not more.
Yeah.
Maybe just because they're more in focus, but we see them eating them. They kill that monster and then eat it. The first thing they do is like try and kill those two kids, and one of the John Bunyan nearly kills Sindel, and it's so touching. And then there's that midsection of the movie where it gets very dark, almost as if they're kind of tracking the whole Star Wars trilogy in one movie. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's sort of, there's a like sequence after sequence of him of Mace being tested and being forced to grow up quickly, and being impatient and nearly dying. That reminds me a lot of Empire Strikes Back, and how
sure,
basically Luke is just he's sort of beaten up from minute one of that movie. Is just Luke being physically beaten and bruised and battered,
right, and
psychologically and physically. There's a similar trajectory here with Mace. Like he's got, it's a classic character arc in that it's not very interesting. It's just it's what happens. Like young people in fiction do this, which is what Luke Skywalker is essentially, dressed up as through the Force and his parentage and all. But it's the same thing. It's the same trope of hero's
Well, and
journey.
it's interesting because yes, it's the same thing, but you have secondary characters that could kind of comment on it in Star Wars, oh, and he wants to go with his friends, like like there's narrative bits to it, whereas here you have to pull the thread yourself, and
I mean, he's also lumbered with the role because he's Burr Lives when Burr Lives is not speaking,
right?
Because he's the one constantly going, you mean to say?
So you're saying?
So you say, like he's doing that. So I think the idea was that, even in '84, they knew that one of the big weaknesses of the holiday special was the kind of the Wookiee chat, the 20-minute, Wookiee talk.
Yeah,
and so they wanted to break that up, but it's just as artificial. Like I think in this context, I might have actually preferred just hearing the Ewoks, because Warwick Davis and Tony Cox and all the other actors in there, they're doing good mime,
right? They
much better than Marla and Itchy and Lumpy. It's like you can't tell what they're thinking.
They're saying,
it's just like go in that closet. Why? Go in that closet. It's like, what? That's what the holiday special is like. But here it's like, get in the hang glider. Okay, fair enough.
You know what
That's a mountain. That's where we're going. That's the whole movie.
Right.
Fine. I don't need Burr Lives to.
I don't need them.
That.
You know what I was expecting to hear and didn't? A Wilhelm scream.
Oh, it's everything but, isn't it? We get a blaster noise.
Yeah.
We get the Ewok panpipes from the John Williams Return of the Jedi score. We get that pan down from the night sky into Endor, which the wipes.
So many wipes.
The swinging across the chasm.
Sure.
Mace wearing Luke's clothes, just like just like Lando's
and his hair.
That's another callback, is just like Lando's wearing all of Han Solo's clothes at the end of Empire Strikes Back when he's in the Falcon. He's wearing all of Luke's clothes. I'm sure there's more Easter eggs beyond that, but Bright Tree Village, Low Gray, Frank Pentangeli Low Gray, and Surrogate Low Gray.
Surrogate,
we got a Surrogate Low Gray in here. Except he's the same character. Does that count as a surrogate? I don't know.
I don't know.
Is
That's
that just
good
a
stuff,
recast? Yeah.
though. That's amazing.
You're really more of a TiVo.
Oh shit.
Mm.
Well, I mean, anything left for you?
I don't think so. No, I think
What's your final word uh to people about this movie?
about this movie.
Like, I think it's worth a watch.
I think if you find you, it's difficult because if there's better things to watch on Star Wars Vintage.
Oh, of course.
You should watch you should prioritize Clone Wars and Droids. If you're gonna watch, if you're gonna watch anything first, but I think
But like, if you have little kids,
I don't know though, the pacing. This is what I found was showing
true.
movies that are family friendly, but have slow pacing. The one cancels the other out. I tried to show my son Ghostbusters, the original '84 Ghostbusters, and just sort of say, whatever he's drinking, don't drink that. Whatever he's smoking, don't smoke that. But besides that,
right.
He just, like, the movie started, he was like, "Where are the ghosts?" I was like, and then I'm thinking mentally in my head.
You're
the first time,
give me
I'm like,
4 minutes. I'm like, just 4.
I'm like, and I had
the librarian ghost will be there.
Well, that was it. But the thing is, it's so few and far between. I was like, the ghost. I got to do that. The opening scene was like, "Ghost is coming. It's going to be at any minute. It's going to be the head of ghost." And then the ghost happens. They run out of the library, and he's like, "Where are the ghosts gone?" And I'm thinking in my head, I'm like, "Oh God, it's a long time until we see another ghost." We've got them using their postgraduate funding for about 10 minutes now, and that's
we have to wait all the way till Slimer, right?
Yeah, I think it's a nice. I think if you're sort of, much as people were in '84, if you're just kind of pumped up after rewatching the original Star Wars trilogy, you could do a lot worse than having this as a, you can do things while it's on. It's like, you're not going to miss anything. If it's like, so this is the prime viewing conditions. You've just rewatched the Star Wars trilogy. You want something of the same flavor, but you also want to make dinner. And just pop in occasionally.
Yeah, exactly.
I think this is perfect for that.
You've hit the nail on the head, friend. Hit the nail on the head with that one. Have it on while you are doing chores.
Although that could lead to some confusion as well, because they repeat the same setup so many times that you might actually think that you missed something. And
did somebody rewind this?
This keeps resetting at this exact point. No, we're gonna go through all this again.
We're just
until the next commercial, and then we're gonna go through it all again. He's gonna say, "I'm hungry" about 4 times before this is done.
That's great.
And you're gonna spend a lot of time going, "Wasn't there a monster?" I was like, "Yes, there is a monster." Although for some reason, I was expecting a witch. I think there's a witch in Battle for Endor. So I was expecting a witch the whole time.
Didn't we get a moon silhouette of a werewolf? Was that supposed to be our end creature? Or...
No, that was the stop motion wolf in Profile.
Oh, it was? Oh, okay.
Yeah. So it
was standing on its hind legs, and I got the sense it was a quadruped when it was trying to get into that tree.
This is what I mean about additional effects. I think additional effects is misleading. I think they gave a company, like a TV effects company, the contracts, and then at some point ILM swarmed in, like SWAT team style.
We're gonna
fix everything.
We're gonna fix some shit here.
I think they filmed the spiders first, and then they were just like, Actually, I might give the rest to Phil Tippett. I think
Just
I
leave.
getting a
We're
sense
gonna
that
we're gonna have to leave the spiders. We don't have enough money to fix that.
yeah,
But
right. I'll special edition it. When I've got the time.
right.
After I've ruined all my other movies, I'll come back and I'll ruin this.
Oh, make it right.
Yeah, that's the George Lucas promise.
Oh, that's great. All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us. It has been 1 year of watch-alongs.
Woo!
Here at the Everything Sequel podcast. And I don't know, Tom, I have a blast with every single one of them.
Yeah. There's something about watching these movies in real time that is very, and real time with you for the purposes of a podcast that makes everything we do watchable. And I hope the people at home feel the same.
Yeah,
because these are very much movies that you should not try to watch on your own.
Oh, you need a helping hand.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
that's right. We are the hamburger helper of bad movies.
Perfect. All right. Well, for Tom Stewart of Lonesome Whistle Productions, Michael Shantz here of the How Dare You Awards. Tune in right now. We've got the Planet of the Apes series, and then we'll be. Well, I'll save what's coming afterwards.
Yeah. That's just Planet of the Apes. We've got plenty of that to
get through when you hear this.
We're not done with furry.
We'll still be doing it when you hear this.
We're not done with furry sci-fi mammals yet.
Right. All right. Until next time, everyone. Enjoy.
Happy Life Day.
Happy Life Day.
And happy Thanksgiving.